Hello, hello, hello. I am joining you today to do a redo of our weekly live show because a few moments ago I was doing a live show, but then we had a massive thunderstorm in Florida. I guess they got to get used to these abrupt changes in weather. But anyway, I was in the middle of my live show that I always do on Thursdays, and I had to, I lost power. The internet got disconnected. We lost power for a few moments. So for those of you who are joining me, thank you for being there. But I'm now going to continue on and just kind of do a redo of the training so that you can finish off and kind of get everything I was trying to say in terms of growing your monthly recurring revenue as a musician. So if you're just joining me for the first time, say hello in the comments, say hi, hi, hi. Let me know what your questions are about building recurring revenue. And if you're now watching from the first time around, hopefully this is going to help you be able to complete what was pending from everything I shared. So here we go. Let's try it again. Welcome to today's weekly show where we're going to be talking about building a recurring revenue as a musician and why you want to build this as a foundational part of your business so that you can have not only a business that is predictable, that is stable, but also one that eventually can become more attractive and more self-sustaining. Because as you may know, the business cycle will always be one where you build a business and eventually you put it on autopilot so it works without you. If you're not able to create that path for your business, then you will always be trapped in your business. And you're going to be working in your business instead of on your business. For those of you who are new to my world, I'm Fabiana Claure, pianist and business strategist for musicians. And really, I'm a specialist in building, growing, and scaling businesses online and also in the brick and mortar space. My journey comes from having built my first music school in 2011, Superior Academy of Music. Within 5 years of running it day in and day out, we were able to move to Texas, leave it in Florida, and I took a new job, a new opportunity to build a music business program at a university. And we were able to run our school on autopilot for the 7 years we lived in Texas. And this year we moved back to Florida. We are now living in the northern part of this of the state of Florida, and so hence the storm earlier this afternoon. But really, in this process, I was able to go from building a business, scaling it, and then delegating it so it could run on autopilot, starting a university program, running it for 5 years, and then building an online program that is now my flagship program, my Musicians Profit Umbrella program, that helps musicians build, grow, and scale their businesses online. So they no longer have to be trading time for money. They can actually create a lifestyle business based on their knowledge instead of their time, and really build a life in alignment with their values so they can have family time. They can be in contact with their artistry, with their instruments, and they can do what they want to do without having to be sacrificing that quality of life. So today we're talking about building that recurring revenue as a musician and why you're going to want to look for avenues in which you can price your services where you have both pay in full options as well as payment plan options so that you can have predictability in your income. When you understand that most musicians struggle with this idea of building predictability in their income because they feel like they get these influxes of cash that come in and out throughout the life cycle of their business, but they struggle with creating a forecasting into the future. What do you need to be planning out so that you can make decisions around investments, around, looking at what are the resources you need to bring for your business, knowing what that predictability is going to look like 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, even more than that, right? So why is predictability in your business important? Why do you want to build that recurring revenue as a musician? Because when you understand what the forecast looks like for you financially, then you can operate without having that fight or flight situation going on. You're not in this emergency state anymore. You can think, you can make strategic choices. You know what comes in your business. And also, the recurring revenue is not just a result of pricing strategies that you may have, where generally speaking, the longer payment options you provide for your clients, the more they'll pay, because of the fact that it'll cost you more to deliver those payment options. You'll have to have more administrative costs. You'll have to have more people looking over the financial side of things. Perhaps you have to pay more for a bookkeeper, financial manager. So there will inevitably be more costs associated when you offer recurring options, payment plan options, versus simply getting pay in fulls, right? So this is why that's the one thing you're going to want to look at. It's like looking at initially when you do payment options, there should be a higher price point involved in that step-by-step payment option versus a pay in full option where you could potentially have like a discount, right, for pay in fulls. That's the first thing, like in terms of strategy for building recurring revenue versus pay in full. But the other thing I want you to think in mind is that when you have a stable forecast, a predictability in your income, your business becomes more self-sustaining, more reliable, and even more attractive from a standpoint of looking at it from a selling standpoint. All businesses go through different stages where you are in the incubator stage, where you grow, where you scale, where you build the systems, you run it on autopilot, and eventually at some point you may even want to delegate it, either just passing it to someone else or maybe even selling it. And so the more you can show that your business has a predictable income stream, right, where you build in that recurring revenue, but also you have marketing strategies that bring in that revenue for you, right? And this is one of the things that I really help musicians figure out in the process of building their online programs. Is not just what is the offer, what is the way in which you're going to sell your services, but how are you going to build marketing events and conversion events that will give you that predictable forecast, knowing that every time you create a certain event, you can anticipate a certain conversion, a certain rate of return, a certain amount of influx of clients that come in due to those events. So, right, that's what you're going to want to be looking at in terms of strategy. Not only what is the pricing model going to look like, but also how are you going to create events in your business and in a marketing plan down the road that will bring that predictability to your income, right? So these are important considerations that you're going to want to build, because again, the longer game you have on your plan, the more of an eye you have on like, what is the business you're trying to build? How are you going to create those events to bring people in? And what are the forecasts that you'll be able to build through your different payment options, both pay in full options as well as pay, partial payments? That's going to give you a completely different level of CEO peace of mind. You'll be able to make forecasting decisions, investment decisions, decide what you want to do to improve your skills, to invest perhaps in advertising, perhaps in team members. You're going to have a lot more leeway of the resources that you need to put into your business because you have that forecast, right? So let me know in the chat if you're watching, what are your questions as it relates to building predictable income, to creating that monthly recurring revenue, and how can you now grow that, right? Let's talk about now the scaling side of things. How do you do to grow your recurring revenue? Well, there's a couple of different avenues, right? One of them is obviously increasing the volume of sales, like having more people buy your services, right? Looking at ways in which you can say, if I'm usually getting this amount of payments coming in, how can I increase the volume of payments so that I have a higher recurring revenue? But the other option that you can use to grow your monthly recurring revenue is also increasing the rates by themselves. Is increasing. If you have let's say a monthly like payment option that people pay you for your services, is deciding at what point would it make sense for you to increase that, and how would you validate and justify that increase, and sending that notification to your clients saying that starting in this date, the new rate for the monthly payments is going to be this. And let me make it clear that when we talk about monthly recurring revenue, there's two types that we're looking at right now, right? One is payment services that people may pay for you on a monthly basis just because you go like on a month-to-month situation, right? Like I know, for example, in my academy, we have like a program where people basically pay month to month, right? In my brick and mortar music program, right? And so you may want to look at, does your offer include some sort of an option where you have that month to month kind of recurring revenue system? Or if you have, as I said before, perhaps high ticket programs where you have like a flagship price, and you have maybe a discount, for paying fulls, then maybe you can have a monthly recurring payment option where the payment is higher, but then people can actually still pay in parts, partially for what you're serving. So it's all of these are just ideas. Maybe you have something more than monthly, maybe you have something that is paid quarterly, but looking for the different models of financial management for you to understand that building this recurring revenue basis in one way or another will make your business sticky, as I like to call it. It makes your business sticky. People need to keep coming to you to continue growing in their journey, right? It's looking at how do you define your services so that as your clients get results, then there are next level problems that they need to solve that you can now help them solve through your next level service, right? Like I know in my programs, for example, I have a program that is, for very, very beginners. I have a program that's for clients who are more established, who want to break 6 figures. I have a program for those who already cross 6 figures and want to reach 7 figures. So there's different levels of ways in which I help my clients ascend in their business journey. And at that each point in that program, there's something I can offer them, right? So I want you to explore, how does this look to you? What would be an ideal monthly recurring revenue that you would like to create in your business, not only from a financial standpoint, but also from a offer standpoint, right? And this is one of the things that I cover in great depth when I do, my own conversion events, which have, I come together with potential, musicians in our community and share, what are some of these different strategies? How can you really grow and scale your business? And so if this is something that you felt like you wanted to get more ideas, and this is important, and you wanted to explore how you can build this in a more strategic way in your music business, then I want to invite you to join me in my upcoming strategy workshop, where I'm going to be breaking down more in-depth strategies on how you can build, grow, and scale your online business from a place of strategy. So this is the link right here below, Discovery, Fabiana Claure /Discovery. And through this link, you can register, reserve your seat, and join me on Friday, the 16th, where we're going to be going deeper into all of these different strategies. I would invite you to join me or to share this with someone you think should be in that event, that you think would benefit from all these conversations, who may be no longer wanting to trade time for money in the way they work as a musician, and they want to actually grow and scale and build their businesses. So let me know if you want to join me. This is the link, fabianaclaure.com /discovery. And I hope this has given you some food for thought, some ideas to start thinking in how you're modeling your prices, how you're building your business. And hopefully this will give you some inspiration to start working smarter, not harder. Thanks everyone for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in my event coming up in a few days. Take care.